Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special WWE Universe. This is not a normal episode, this is just a special WWE Universe because we had a bit of a shocking development that has happened this week that may have shocked quite a number of WWE fans, particularly if you're a fan of this individual who you may see on your screens right now, aka John Cena. Yes, I know there's some anti-Cena fans out there who cannot stand this guy, but you might want to listen to this because this week John Cena was having a sit-down interview with Michael Cole that's just gone out online by WWE, and I saw it last night, and I was quite surprised with what John Cena said, because I've actually got part of what he said from an article that has already written about this whole interview. It's kind of amazing how they've captured this whole moment. But anyway, let's just read it, okay? Okay. Michael Cole's latest sit-down interview featuring John Cena this week. Cole asked if Cena's facing Rusev at WrestleMania 31 is just about John Cena having another WrestleMania match. Cena says not at all. He added that he's learned a valuable lesson. He mentioned how Stephanie McMahon served him a piece of a humble pie when she said on Raw that WWE will be fine without John Cena. Cena's said it's not about an opportunity to perform at WrestleMania. He believes this opportunity is the most important of his WWE career because normally winning at WrestleMania is about you, the performer. But this year, it's all about bringing the United States title back home. Cena praised Rusev as an athlete, but Cena's tired of hearing him talking bad about America whilst representing America with the title on. Cena said he has had enough and he is not alone. Cena says everyone's fed up with Rusev representing America. Cole brought up how many superstars have said the same thing about Rusev in the last year, but they couldn't stop him. Cena included. Cena says all he can do is hope for the opportunity. He's not fighting for just him. He's fighting for those before him who have said Rusev had to be stopped. He is fighting for those, for the ones watching that feel the same way. Cena knows what's at stake at WrestleMania. He knows it'll be a battle. He knows that what it's like to be in the accolade. He says he's made a mistake. If he had made a mistake. He had made a mistake last time, but he's going to be well prepared at WrestleMania. Cole mentioned how Cena has acknowledged that WWE will go on without him. Cole asked if Cena has thought about WrestleMania 31 being it for him. Cena says his thoughts have crossed his mind. He says there's a point where people lost faith, but every time when it appears he's down, he comes back fighting harder. Cena's talking about he didn't get the job done against Brock Lesnar and Rusev. He says at WrestleMania if he doesn't get the job done, he'll face the consequences. He says he made his impact with him. He made a pact with himself where when he can't keep up with the superstars in the ring, He would rather gracefully blow out instead of hanging around too long, having his hard work going down the drain. Cole asks what John Cena will see at WrestleMania on Sunday. Cena says he's heard the critics that they don't like his character, but they respect the man. Cena says at WrestleMania, we're going to see a man fighting for what he believes in. Cena says people respect him because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He says what he believes in, and says what he's sick of. Cena says he believes in this country, he loves this country, and Cena says that he's going to WrestleMania to stop all of this, take back the US title so the USA can have a representative to be proud of. Cena wants to visit the cities around the US so people can see the US champion that can be proud of. Cena wants to be the champion to go around the world and prove that America's elite because we bust our ass to be elite. Cena says that WrestleMania isn't about him. It's about shutting up Rusev and bringing the title back where it belongs. So, as I've just said, and you may have heard most of that conversation at the beginning of this podcast here. Well, I wouldn't say podcast, but still. I just have to say it's going to be a bit of a shocker if John Cena does not beat Rusev. You can just imagine what most of John Cena's fans are going to be like when they realize, well, like I said, when they realize if John Cena cannot beat Rusev, what would that do to the WWE? What would it do to all those people who have said, that John Cena can overcome everything? Who's to say that what John Cena says could very well be what's going to happen? Maybe, I know there are some people that says that this is just to, build up the match, but I don't see it that way. I see it as this could be, as John Cena says, could be John Cena's final match. Because if John Cena believes this is his final match, then what happens if John Cena does lose? What happens if that does happen and he fails to defeat Rusev? What would that do to the WWE? And what would it do to John Cena fans if you wake up knowing just after WrestleMania he could not defeat Rusev and Rusev passes him out again for the second pay-per-view in a row that it happened? The first thing I would say for most of the fans would be devastation. Because think about it. For all those years, those 10 precious years that John Cena has been in the WWE, and he has vowed to not quit, not give up at anything that he has done, for him to lose this match at WrestleMania would be probably the biggest shock in WrestleMania history, is to see John Cena leaving the WWE and leaving WrestleMania leaving WrestleMania knowing that he could not defeat a Russian superstar. That would be probably the most shocking thing I've ever seen. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I think it's going to happen. The more of my mind is starting to think, okay, could this thing really be happening? Is this what the WWE are trying to do? Are they trying to say that they want, they're giving John Cena what he wants? Because funny enough, there's been a lot of rumors about John Cena wanting to, have he has a different mindset, basically. John Cena doesn't really see himself as WWE's face anymore. He doesn't see himself as the guy who comes to WWE and he enjoys the company, but he doesn't see himself as the guy who, he doesn't really see himself as like working in WWE forever. He feels that he's coming to a time where he wants to do other things. He wants to be possibly a TV actor. He probably wants to be a movie star, like The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Sorry, it's possible. But just think about that for a minute. Just think about the night after WrestleMania, the minute after John Cena, just 24 hours. If this is what's going to happen, just 24 hours after John Cena passed out to Rusev for the second pay-per-view in a row. Can you imagine what the fans would be like after WrestleMania on Raw when they realize that John Cena is leaving? Quite a number of people are going to be cheering, but there are going to be a few less percentage of people who are probably going to feel pretty gutted because half of WWE fans really respect John Cena. But it'll be a big question to be is whether the fans, those anti-Cena fans, are going to give John Cena the respect he deserves if he does leave this year. Because like I said, I'll be so surprised if John Cena does indeed leave after WrestleMania 31. If this is going to be his final hour, his final ever match in WWE. Can you imagine that? WrestleMania 31 being his last ever match in the company? Obviously, because think about it. The Undertaker is probably not going to have another WrestleMania match. If he's going against Bray Wyatt, it's very unlikely that the Undertaker's going to show up in Texas if he's going to face Bray Wyatt this year. Seriously. Do you really think the Undertaker's going to be able to overcome Bray Wyatt? Half of the superstars haven't been able to do it. So, the big question now is whether the Undertaker's possibly leaving, and if he does, John Cena's going to go down in history as the only guy who has never faced the Undertaker at a WrestleMania. But still, maybe the Undertaker didn't want Cena. Maybe the Undertaker doesn't want John Cena at WrestleMania, and I don't blame him. Maybe he prefers bigger guys. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, it just surprises me. It really surprises me how John Cena, who's become one of the biggest guys in the history of WWE, has had so much history in this business. During his battles with JBL, during his battles against, think about it. Think about all the people that, like I said, think about all the people that John Cena had faced it over the years. Like, the Nexus. Wayne Barrett, aka Bad News Barrett, Triple H, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, Christian, Edge, The Undertaker, The Rock, Shawn Michaels. All these people that he has faced over the years. Booker T, Kane, his good friend Zack Ryder, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase. Also matches with Daniel Bryan, Batista. All these people that John Cena has faced over the years and has never looked back during these times where he has been one of the most successful people in the WWE today. And look at that. think about that for a minute, guys. Think about everything that he's achieved, including 15-time world champion. Yes, I know some people are a bit annoyed by that, but still, he came close to Ric Flair's record. He's had one United States title run, well, a couple of United States championships. And then he's had tag team titles, 2-time Royal Rumble, a form, he was the 2012 Money in the Bank winner for Raw. He was the, he's even competed in inside Hell in a Cell, Extreme Elimination Chamber, Extreme Rules match. All these, he's competed in so many matches, tables, ladders, and chairs matches, table matches, all these different matches that have no holds barred. All these matches that John Cena has participated in, and he has been able to overcome the odds in these matches. Right there tells you something. It tells you how much it means for this young man, John Cena, to have been in this business and still found a way to be the to be champion, or to be like the biggest face of this company. And there is no question that John Cena will be in the Hall of Fame. If he does leave this year, I have no doubt he'll be brought back for the Hall of Fame. I reckon he'll be inducted. If he does leave this year, he's got to be inducted next year into the Hall of Fame. I have no question about that. Because if John Cena is going to leave in style, and if he chooses this year to be it, then he's had a very successful run. Yeah, sure, he didn't win the Intercontinental title, but still, at least he's proud to have had one, to have one more wrestling match just for the fans, and then to to basically to leave on a high, knowing that he's become one of the biggest guys in the WWE and he's been the face of the company for like nearly 12 to 13 years. Nearly 13 years he's been the face of this company. And the fact that now he's coming mid-card, still, he's had an impressive run. He really has. I mean, I have nothing against John Cena, from everything that he's accomplished. I have nothing against that. It's just, I'm quite surprised that John Cena is now starting to see a different light, and now he's starting to see that maybe we're coming to perhaps the end of his story career. Maybe this is the final chapter. I don't know. Maybe WrestleMania is the final chapter. I don't know. But the point I am making is this. If he does leave, we shouldn't be disappointed, because think about it. We've got Daniel Bryan. We've got Dolph Ziggler. We've got Roman Reigns. I mean, think about all these futuristic guys who are in the WWE. Dean Ambrose, that are getting reactions every single time they come out. There's going to be no question that Daniel Bryan's going to get recognized for years to come. And think about all these people like Roman Reigns, who's going to hold the WWE World Heavyweight title possibly at WrestleMania. Think about how big Roman Reigns is going to be. He's going to probably replace John Cena as the next face of the company. You never know. Just think about that for a minute, people. Think about Roman Reigns possibly being the face of this company. I would love to see I would love to see what WWE could do with Roman Reigns that they couldn't do with John Cena. Just think about that. Think about what they could do with Roman Reigns and how they're going to develop his character if he is a champion after WrestleMania. And then you got Brock Lesnar. I mean, think about what WWE could do for his babyface turn. You know what? I actually thoroughly believe Brock Lesnar will probably become babyface at some point. I really do. I think we're heading to a point where Brock Lesnar is going to become babyface, and we just got to learn to accept that he's going to be he's going to be a babyface in this company. And whether that will be at WrestleMania, who knows? But if it's not, then at least by SummerSlam, he'll be a babyface. I am positive on that. But the reason why I've done this cast is because if this is going to be if WrestleMania 31 is going to be the last time we're going to see John Cena in a WWE ring, then I am going to definitely be doing, I think we may have to do a special John Cena episode of the WWE Universe if he does indeed if he does think about wanting to leave after WrestleMania, then we may have to do a special episode in memory, to pay tributes to the career of John Cena and look back at some of I might have to do a special video looking back at his storied career. So you get to see just some of the great things that John Cena has done. Whether you booed him or you cheered him, this guy has had some memorable moments in the WWE that will be passed on for generations. And, I think a lot of people are going to probably agree with that. And I honestly do believe that if he cannot defeat Rusev, then at least John Cena tried. At least John Cena's tried. At least he's going to try. Because as they say, unless you tried, you will never know if you could ever do it. So if John Cena, the fact that John Cena's going to try means something. It means that John Cena is trying his best to basically do the unthinkable. But if he can't do it, at least he's tried. At least he's tried to do what he said he was going to try and do. And if he doesn't make it, then, he's had his chance. He's had the chance to do it, and he's going to face the consequences, and he's going to probably call it a time, and then he's just going to let other people, step. So on a final note, really, like I said, I mean, he's had great championship material. He's had some great championship matches, and he'll be remembered for his WrestleMania main events. And like I said, if John Cena leaves, he leaves. And, it's a part of life, people. Most wrestlers stay. Most wrestlers only come for a short period of time. They just leave and do other things. And, maybe John Cena's thinking the same thing. So, like I said, don't worry, because this is not the end of everybody seeing John Cena, because you're going to end up seeing John Cena as probably a movie star or on television somewhere else. You don't have to see him as a WWE superstar. You can just remember him as a WWE superstar, but you'll see him in different jobs at some point. And if this year is going to be the year that he's going to do it, then and also think about this. The Bella twins are also thinking about wanting to whether to stay or quit at the moment. So, if Nikki Bella's leaving, then, if John Cena's leaving, then Nikki Bella might do the same, you never know what's going to happen until it's happened. And whether John Cena is going to win or not, depending on what WWE are hoping for, though most WWE owners are hoping for Cena to win, but some are anxiously asking WWE to let Rusev win again, which I don't quite understand why they're doing it, but I think that they're doing it because of what John Cena said this week, basically. So there you go. Anti-Cena fans have already spoken. Anyway, enough of that. But all I can say is really it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the Cena versus Rusev match. Also, let's not forget you've got Randy Orton, Seth Rollins in a match at WrestleMania. That was confirmed. That's definitely going to happen. And I believe that's all the matches because the rest of the superstars are going to be competing in a Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So there you go, basically. That is, they're just the basic add-ons that we've got for WrestleMania right now. But, we're still waiting to hear what's happening with Jimmy Uso and Naomi, whether they're going to be having a mixed tag match because Jey Uso is injured right now. So you can expect you can expect not to have the Usos tag team to happen at WrestleMania. There you go. Now I said it. But obviously we're still waiting to know what's happening with the tag team titles. I would assume it will be the Ascension versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, or it could be a completely different team, depending on what WWE are looking for right now. But from all goodness, basically, make sure you keep liking and subscribing. And yes, I want to say thank you and welcome aboard to all the wrestling fans that have subscribed to the WWE Universe recently. Very, very honored for your subscriptions. And also, please subscribe to the WWE Network. There's quite a lot of stuff. And JBL now will tell you how much it's cost.
Live on the WWE Network for just $9.99.
As you see, JBL says $9.99. Anyway,